I thought it was competitive. I thought some guys came out and really played pretty well. Some guys tried to make too much happen, which is typical for these. It's almost like spring game over the years. You can almost write a book on it. There'll be guys really hot in spring, and then, they'll fade a little bit. But it really doesn't diminish them as players or anything. But, it's just one of those settings and steps that you have to take. So I thought, the best is once we got rolling and got in a rhythm, both on offense and on defense. And then I thought that, some guys would just kind of try to make too much happen, resort to street ball. And I thought that was on both sides. We deliberately create the adversity here as far as splitting the teams evenly, so we can have it as competitive as possible, and then people having to adjust to things and adjust to different settings and different people around them, which I like that format. But then, then always there's going to be some spotty execution, which for the short run it'll frustrate me, but they're really more good things, and I really thought it was a good scrimmage.
Thoughts on the play of your receivers and how they're coming along?
Well, mixed. I mean, if you have a specific one.
Patman for starters.
I thought Patman started out slow, and then he heated up as time went on. I thought he started the scrimmage slow, but then I thought he got into a rhythm as it went on. And he's had a really good spring. I mean, even though he did some good things today, he's had an even better spring than that. You practice, he'll go out there rolling, generally, and then, but he adjusted, and so it was good. And he's a pretty good example of a guy that, needed this type of a setting to, go out there and work through it, and he did pretty quickly. I thought, after about, maybe a quarter of the game, then he got rolling.
It's probably difficult to evaluate on the fly, especially when they're kind of mismatched or mixed and matched, but just your thoughts on the offensive line, defensive line battle?
Well, that's where it's most challenging, is the offensive line. And we almost were able to have two full units, almost. But then on the left side, we had a three-way rotation that played on both sides. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, but like you say, I mean, there'll be natural mismatches, and then offensively trying to execute, I mean, it can be tough. But then, defensively, all of a sudden you got a young guy against some guy that's pretty good, and maybe the run fits aren't what you'd hope if it was the guy you're planning to play with. But everybody has to, and like I say, it's we try to create kind of a shirts and skins environment, and of course execution won't be perfect, but it'll be competitive. And I've done it that other way where the ones go against the threes, which is a utter waste of time, and then, I mean, you guys would see a lot of points and you'd be bored out of your mind. And anyway, I mean, it is what it is. And then if you want to see us run drills, you have to come on Tuesday, because we're not going to waste a spring game just running some drills. So
every year the defensive line seems to coalesce around one leader. They kind of call him the USO. Is that Daniel Equale this year? Have you seen that?
I'm not sure. I thought about that briefly a while back. I don't really know. Coach Phelps would have probably a better idea of that. Because, I mean, as a group, they're doing some pretty good things. And some of those ends are getting more explosive, too. So I'm not sure.
One more for Coach. Are you guys good?
At this point, are things still? Do you keep things wide open in terms of your depth chart, or do you kind of try to evaluate at this point of the year?
Well, I mean, basically the first part of camp, that's spring ball all over again. You're doing the same things. You're experimenting with any new stuff you want to check out. You're evaluating how your players have evolved, and which they will. There'll be definite differences. I mean, even though it's just a couple of months, there'll be guys that all of a sudden can do stuff that they couldn't previously. And then plus, you have the freshmen in there. And so you'll see, then you have to check in and see where they're at and what are their talents and how do you best get them out there on the field. And then after that, then as they, fight and compete for their jobs, then you have to adjust the reps to develop them around their role out there as you go into the season. So really, for the first 2 weeks of camp, it's essentially spring football all over again. So, I'll have better answers for you after that.